a Kangaroo Fern production.
A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Each of us runs a different pace in life.
As a millennial or someone coming of age into adulthood, it's just a lot of things to process. And a lot of things that you want can't happen now because a lot of things are
In love, friendships, and our own self-worth. As we embark on these journeys, we hold the hope to learn a little more each day.
why can't I have whatever they have? And oftentimes I find myself comparing my progress, comparing what I have with other people, even like in the slyest way. It seems like it's
As we survive and strive to be stronger.
You are really sure and aware of your being as a person and your truth, your core, your everything. Anything that you put out in the table won't be used against you.
So I'd like to welcome you all to Love, Growth, and Freedom.
the different kinds of love that we could see in this world, and on the idea of how love is crazy and how love has different meanings for all of us.
A podcast that believes in love, inspires growth, and advocates freedom. Let me be your friend, your guide, as we all ride the crazy adventure called life. Powered by Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate.
Welcome back to Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. And this is our finale episode. Yay! Thank you for supporting me and joining me in this journey of our third season. This third season was amazing and jam-packed of a lot of things that I had to work on and deal with. And it's just really good to talk about all those because these are the questions that really just boggles my mind whenever I do think about these things. Like comparing myself, am I ever being enough? Am I being too selfish? And am I on the right path? And for this finale, what question would we want to answer? And it is the question of how do we go from here? Since we all know these things already, we all know what we had to work on and what are the things that hinders us. How do we go from here? How do we take the step forward or the step towards a life that we want to have? Because when I say step forward, I don't want to make life seem a linear passage, but we'll get into that later. So this is our finale episode. That's what it's all going to be about. We're going to ask from how do you move from point A to point B, or from the point where we are today and to the point where we want to be at the end, or for our future. So we all have those ideas. We all have those things where we think that we're doing the right thing. We think that we're not doing the right thing. We think a lot. We overthink and overanalyze a lot of situations where maybe it's just okay to be in the moment, in the now, and all of that. And this episode we'll be working on the mindset that we should have as we go through life, the mindset that we should actually think of as we journey through our experiences, all the things that we have to know and meet and be with and to do in life. So how do we go from here? I just want to start this idea that or this episode with the idea that life is like a roller coaster ride. If you guys can similarize or whatever, metaphorically speaking, when you are in a roller coaster for the first time around, you wouldn't know how the highs and the lows would feel, right? The first time around. And then comes the second part, where you kind of get the feel of what's going to happen in the high, what's going to happen in the lows, and you're somehow prepared, and your emotions and your heart is somehow ready for the thrill or the fear that will come along when you take that second rotation round back in that thing. So with all that, I would like to talk about how this is true to life as of the moment, because life will hand you lemons. Life would hand you a lot of things. It's not going to be a chill ride for you whenever you want to go up and down the roller coaster. It's going to have those highs and lows. And what all we could do is prepare ourselves for the worst and for the best. Prepare and hope for the best. Strive to have the best. But also being prepared to understand that we're going to go through a lot of hoops, a lot of everything else just to get through where we are today. And the best way we could think about that is, we have to realize that life is going to have those ups and downs. So the truth about life is we're going to have to prepare ourselves. And how do we do that? How do we prepare ourselves for the worst and for the best? I think for me, I have not yet experienced a super dark cloud in my life, but it's not that I have not had a real struggle. We all have, because all struggles are valid. All of that you're feeling and going through is valid. So that's one thing you have to go through. And I think the darkest cloud in my life was two things, and it sparked a lot of change in my life. First off, being outed in 2018 and getting my heart broken immensely in 2018. So those were the things that you think you're gonna hit rock bottom, but it wasn't. It was just that phase that you had to go through to shape you, to change you, to mold you to become who you are meant to be, and how you are supposed to be today. And this is where I am. I'm happy that I'm here. I'm proud to be here, and I feel great that I've went through all those so that I could say that I lived through it. But how do we prepare? How do we get on with our lives thinking that the worst things could happen to us?
So you want to start a podcast? Or perhaps you've already started one, but you're still unclear on how you can actually make this podcasting work. No worries. That's why we're here for you. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Join our network. Contact us at info@kangaroofern.com because we're stronger together.
I don't know how we could prepare that I don't know how it's going to work for you, but how I prepare it is I try to sit down with some truths about life. Life in itself will end. I could die at any minute. I could die of a freak accident, or I could die of a sickness. We all could die any given second in a snap of a finger. And I think about that as one of the worst things that could happen. And would you be good or happy if you don't get to do anything that you wanted before you died? So I prepare myself for all those kinds of things. I also sit down with the truth that family members will die. They will get sick. You will get hurt. You will get all this. And understand that there is darkness in this world that would come and devour you and all your good things and all the good things in your life. So that is the worst. It scares me, but I know that could happen. And I know that as long as I won't have the will to survive and try and learn from all these things and know when to ask help and know when I would need help, I know I could survive through all of those hard things. It's not because I'm strong enough to handle those, but I think I've been working on it a lot of times already, understanding that this will happen. And I can't say perfectly that I will be perfectly fine, but I know that I will go through hell and back to get over those kinds of things. But I will, and I should, and I will find a way, because that's how I need it to be. I want it to be, because I'm prepared that this is gonna happen. Nobody promised, not even God, not even the universe, promised you a life free of suffering. But what is promised is that you are going to be able to survive this. You are going to be able to live through that kind of suffering and be a testimony to all the people around you. That's what God promised. That's what the universe could promise. It depends on what you believe in. But I think we're all so pushed to the idea that the world should be kind to us, but it wouldn't. It won't, because it's filled with darkness. But you have to be prepared. You have to understand that that is part of it. But also, what's good about this is that there's so much darkness in the world, and there's also so much goodness in the world. There's so much bright things, good people, kind hearts, and whatever. It exists, and it's there in the world. And it's just relieving to know that as much as worse things could happen to you, the best things could also happen to you. The things that you so love and want and desire in life could also happen to you if you allow it, if you look for it, if you chase it, if you work your way through it. It's not gonna land in your lap. It's not. So you're gonna have to work your ass off to get to where you want to be. Align yourselves, align your heart, align your mind, align your work, to where you want to be, align the steps that you take, and you are able to get the best. So I think that's what we could prepare. That's what the truth is about life. That we can have anything that we want to put, we want to try, we want to give it a shot. Go for it, because that's what it's supposed to be. So with all that, you can all just keep going and keep trying to find that best part. So that's, for me, how do we go from here is you understand that the fundamental truths about life, that how things could happen, and prepare yourselves for the best and the worst things that could happen. So we move on to the next point that I will tell you is that you have to remember that life will teach you. Life will have lessons for you. Life would give you that nudge to the right direction if you want it, if you believe in it, if you choose to allow it. But it will teach you through experiences, through the people that you meet, through the emotions that you get to feel in certain times. Life will teach you, and let it. Because this is a teaching life. This is a teaching hot. No, I was going to say Grey's Anatomy, but this is a teaching life. A life will teach you. Your life could be a canvas of lessons for people. And either you could use it for the good or use it for the bad, or take in these lessons to better yourselves, or just don't heed the advice of the lessons that you learn from your life. A lot of us would resist change and growth and resist this kind of lesson from the universe. We would curse the universe if the bad things happen to us, or we would curse God if all these evil things happen to us. But we often look into just ourselves when we reach the top of it. I'm not saying that you don't matter and what you did wasn't the case, but we have to realize that to get to where we are, we had a lot of people behind us. We had your friends, your family, who stood behind you, who allowed you to stand on their shoulders to be able to reach where you want to be. So we have to take into consideration that all these people has had something to teach you. And that is the universe for you. That is God trying to tell you, or the universe trying to tell you, that you're not the only one who got you up there. But with your hard work, yes, with your envisions, with your dreams, with your goals, yes, you led yourself into that direction. But you have to realize that as life taught you all these, also the people around you, the experiences that you had to experience with all these people, get to bring you and build you up to be where you are today. Life isn't lived in a linear pattern, is another point. We always think that life should have levels. Life goes forward, not backward, not sidewards, not left and right. But no, I realized that. I think society has taught me, or taught us, that life moves in levels. Because in school, you found that you start in preschool, you learn all of this. You have a stage of development and a stage of life that you have to go through. So you have stages of early childhood, stages of adolescent period and pre-adolescent period, adolescence, and adulthood. And then it's like they leave you up in there when you get into adulthood and the right maturity of your age when you get there. It's like when you get there, at the top of it, you're done. You're supposed to get to understand what you're supposed to do with your life, and that's just weird and impossible. I just want to say that's how it felt. It's like I was thought that life is gonna be like that. That's why I was so excited to get over school. I was so excited to get over this, but they didn't tell you that after school, the whole plotting of your life ends. And you don't know where to go unless you do it yourself. And you've been following the rules for ages in your lives until 20, 21, 20, or 19. You just follow those paths that was set by you, by a curriculum, by a school. And you're like, okay, after this, I think I'm going to be on top of it. I'm going to be on that level. I'm going to be on that height. But that's not the case. Life isn't lived in a linear way. Some of you will learn the lessons as you grow old, and some of you will learn all the lessons that you need about heartbreak, about friendship, about family, in different parts of your lives. And you have to see that sometimes Your life goes up and down, again, like a roller coaster, or you can just look at it as a way that your life grows and spread. You can't say that today is level 1 and tomorrow is level 2. That's not how it works. Your day is it's scattered. It's an event. It's an unfolding of a lot of things laterally and a whole lot of way and vertically. And it's just like you live it like that. You live it in a way that your life spreads out, not just going in one line in one direction, but it goes to a lot of direction. You grow into a lot of things. You grow much emotionally, mentally. You grow in all those, and it's not just one line for you. It's gonna be a lot because that's how life goes. That's how life is lived. You're not meant to live a life where, oh, at age of 30 I have to be this, at age of this I had to be like this. That's what society tells us to do. And with this kind of mindset, we rarely sit down with ourselves and understand what we want to have for our lives.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss an episode by clicking on the subscribe button now. This podcast is possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
We always move in a very fast pace where we think that life is just all about those, all about the achievements, all about what you can do, and less of who you are and what you could be and what you mean and what you bring into this world. You know, they this kind of thinking of moving forward, leveling up and whatever removes so much humanity from us. We don't get to sit in our own chairs and enjoy the presence of your loved ones, your memories. You don't get to cherish them because you always have to live a life where you always have to get on ahead of somebody else, or you feel like everything is just in a competition or everything is in a straight line, that you have to walk it without realizing why you're walking it. Why do you want to walk it without stopping and to smell the roses, without stopping to enjoy the grocery store or doing anything that you kind of love just because you want to move forward? You know, there are challenges that we have to overcome, but not necessarily bringing higher up, but provides lessons and realizations. And we have to know that all the things that happen in our lives add up to something of who we are. These experiences, these lessons, make up our own being, which is great. Now, what is the best way to do this? How could we have this moment of enjoying parts of our lives and still grow? Because growth doesn't mean just moving forward. Growth is everywhere. Growth can be in a very lateral way. You can grow widely, deeply down in the roots, and you can grow high up above. So, how do we grow? How do we find that growth? How do we start from there? We allow it. We let growth happen. It may be painful. It may be crazy, and it makes you anxious. It does, because change will come. But let's take it a step at a time. It happens day by day, each person by person, experience by experience, thoughts and emotions by thoughts. We're always, you know, we are always revved up and urged to be the next big thing, but we don't really get to assess, is this what we truly want? What I've noticed, I've been in social media for a lot of time, for the longest time now. I've been in social media for at least 3-4 years now, and working on it for a real good thing. Instagram and so many other things, and podcasting. It makes you feel like you're always chasing that stardom. It makes you feel like you're always chasing that star spotlight. But I've realized, going through the motions, understanding why I do this, when I look back into the whys, I know that I do this for a reason, not just to be in the spotlight, but it sometimes jades my perception of why I do this. And I would always have to try and take a break to go back into the thought process of why I want to talk about the things that I want to talk about, and that causes me to think about that. And what I do now is whenever I get overwhelmed, whenever I think that I'm not amounting to anything, whenever I think that whatever I'm doing is not working for me or not working for a lot of people, I sit back and take a break. I really do. I take it a day at a time, realizing that the things that I do now matters to me because this is what I want to do, because this is what gives me peace. And no matter how many people listens to me or no matter how many people don't listen to me, as long as there are people who do, it matters. I matter. We all matter. Inherently, we all do matter. And to say that otherwise is also something that I would not allow for any other people to do. But yeah, and I just want to share a little exercise that I did conjuring up the life that I want. And I believed. I worked for it. I went straight home with it. So I'll tell you all about it after this break. I'll see you again later.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
And you're back to the show. Welcome back again, guys. So, we were talking about like figuring out your path, and I was going to tell you about all those things that I would want to say about the idea of manifestation. So, I did have a lot of things in mind that I liked or I focused on my energy towards too, as we were asking of how do we go from here? How do we go from not knowing where we want to go to figuring it out every other step of the way? So, in manifestation, with manifesting the things that I want, I would not say that it's entirely all me, entirely all that I had, but it was mostly about how the universe, or if you believe in a divine being, how God has provided you all these opportunities and has brought this to you. With manifestation, what I did was how I manifested the life that I want, or still manifesting it, is that I do some exercises where I thank the universe, or thank God, or any divine being that you believe in. I thank the universe, I thank God for giving me exactly what I wanted. I was specific. What you have to think about here is that you have to crush the limiting beliefs that you're never gonna amount to anything, that whatever you're gonna wish is too much for you to get, and that you don't deserve it. What you have to think about is that you deserve it. It's yours. And breaking those limiting beliefs is the challenging part, because you'd always think about being practical, about being maybe this is not worth my time, or this is not mine for the taking. You have to remove that and you have to think this is yours. So what I did, I had goals of studying in Australia this year. I applied for it and I went for it, but COVID postponed it and all that kind of thing. But before all that, before I applied for the visa, what I did was I found my school, I applied for the school, and I processed the visa all by myself. And what I did was, while waiting for the visa, I kept thanking the universe for giving me the visa. The whole time that I was waiting, I was asking and I was thanking the universe. I was imagining it. I was sitting with myself, visualizing that I get everything that I asked for. Specifically, I asked for the visa. I already got. And I'm still now manifesting a nice place at St. Kilda. I'm thanking the universe for giving me that. Because it's a nice neighborhood, according to my friend. And I'm also still thanking the universe for giving me a nice room, a nice plane ticket leaving by January 15, and a cheap rate hotel for a quarantine. Those are the things that I thank the universe. Even though I don't have it yet, I sit down with myself and say thank you. I look at it as if I had it. Law of attraction, manifestation, and all and all the likes. A lot of people have been telling you about this. I have been seeing this in YouTube. I've been seeing this, and I have had friends who actually believe in this. And the law here, or the idea in manifesting and attraction, or law of attraction, is you get the vibe that you give out into the world. If the more you think that bad things are gonna happen to you, the more it's gonna happen, and the more you think good things will happen to you, the more it will happen. So that's kind of my tip. I did this up until now, and I can't believe that I am in a position where
We are Independent Podcast Network. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Would you like to hear your brand while supporting quality podcasts? Contact us now at advertise at guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com.
I've somehow not yet, I've somehow gotten everything that I wanted, and I believe that I will get it. I just believed with all my heart, and not believed, but more of like pushed through it. I was just like thanking the universe. And one thing that people would miss about this is that they think that this will fall in their laps. It will, in that kind of way, but what it does is that the more that you believe in it, the more that you believe that you already have it, you feel it, you already get it, and you manifest it towards you, these opportunities come in front of you, and just makes it seem like, okay, the universe is giving you the chances to get what you want and get on with your dream, or the Lord is. And with me, I've done that multiple times. I do this what we call savers, is silence. I wake up with silence. I try not to look at my phone, and I stay with myself for a few seconds. I try for minutes, but I can't minutes, so I just do seconds of silence. And then I would do affirmations. I will tell myself and tell the world self-affirmations. I'm good, I'm great, I'm worthy, and I'm loved. And then visualize. And that's where I sit down with myself, and I'm like visualizing, thinking and feeling it like I'm in that situation where I got my visa, when I got my ticket already, and it just feels good to feel it, to feel like you have it, even though you don't have it physically yet. Feels good to actually just put it out there that it's already mine, I'm claiming it. So when the time came that I got my visa, which was August 11, I was just ecstatic and amazed and happy, and I was supposed to leave April of this year, but it was postponed because of Corona again. And you do get it. That's where you're supposed to lose hope. Where at that moment in April, you're like, okay, I gotta get on with my life. I have to figure out a way to grow here and then try again. But I never had that thought. I never second guessed it. I never felt like I should give it up. I was just like, okay, I should think of a way of making my time worthwhile here while I wait for the visa and while I wait for my departure. And damn, it just came on and fell into my lap, and I was just amazed. And it was just great feeling that you were thinking about that all along. You were wanting that, you were manifesting that all along, and it comes for you. It's just amazing. And these things also happened to me after doing this, after attracting and putting out that same energy of good energy and law of attraction and manifestation out into the world. It's been bringing me stuff again. It's been helping me fight away my self-doubt, and it's been giving me opportunities to rise and shine in places where I've never thought I would. For example, podcasting. I've had great successes with all this episodes, and I'm happy. I'm glad people have been messaging me, recognizing this, and it's just amazing because I just look at it and say, I thank you, universe, for this. I want this. Thank you for this. And that's one of the things that I could tell you is, if you want to manifest your life, if you want to start where you are, I think it's good that you have this healthy mindset that things could go, because we were talking about being prepared for the worst and being prepared for the best. And I guess we could, once you're prepared with all those, maybe you could hope for the best, hope hard for the best, feel for the best, and aim for the best, because that's what you deserve. That's what you want, and that's what you get. And get that, hope for that. And when you hope for that, work for it. Align everything that you're doing towards that one goal that you've been manifesting. So that's my secret, I guess. Not secret, but it's what I'm doing right now is my head is looking forward over there, thinking that I'm gonna get to that, while once in a while I look into that, and then I come back and focus on the things that I could do now that could build me up as I get to that point. And it just feels like it's falling into place. It's like everything is gonna fall into place when it's supposed to be, and why this happened, why the delay, why everything. It's made me realize that I had so much work left undone here that I have to work on before I move forward with that part of my life, and which is just amazing. Okay, so why do I why am I telling you this? Why am I letting you do manifestations if you don't believe in it? If you don't believe in a higher being, or if you don't believe in hoping for the good things, I I'm just sharing this kind of manifestation or ideal of looking and hoping for the best and believing it's yours already, because it motivates you. It will motivate you so bad or so good that you're gonna want to push through and muddle through every obstacles and circumstances that you're gonna face. And it's wonderful, I swear. It it also acts as a guide to where you wanna be going to. You know, it acts like these manifestations. You can be doing this in a whole lot of things. It's a powerful tool for you to set your heart out in the right place that you want it to be, and you attract the same energy. You attract the same people towards you who has that kind of vibe and who has that kind of energy putting out into the universe or into the world. This helps as a guide, as a north star. If you want to be in that position, if you want to go get your dreams, for example, my goal is to be in Australia, get a PR, and find ways to earn there and come back here and, you know, just put up a school and learn more about psychiatry or be a psychiatrist and all that. And I see that in that future. So I hope that, I think for that, I thank the universe for that. I claim it, it's mine. I thank the universe. And seemingly everything that you have in there that you want to be, you'll see it clearly, and you'll see a path where you want to take it and how you're going to take it, how you're going to approach it. So having that goal, having that thing that you want to manifest in your life gives you that sense of like a blueprint that the world doesn't give you. It just gives you that kind of sense of a direction where you want to go, and it makes you focus and align all your energies and efforts towards that goal and dream. And these are the ways that you could do this. There are many ways of manifesting. What I do is I say it out loud. I sit with myself in silence and I say, thank you, universe. And then I also write it down in my notebook to solidify me thanking the universe for it. And I become very specific. You get to ask the universe specific things. So you get to ask God for specific things. If you're going to want a place, you're going to ask for a room with white walls and bed. You can just go very down to the specific of what kind of bed you want, with queen size, twin size, whatever kind of bed. And it has to go there because you believe that it will happen. And with that kind of power of belief, your mind is stronger than you think, and it gives you that sense of, okay, it's gonna happen when you want it to happen. It is. So let's not underestimate the power of believing and the power of our minds and the power of pushing forward through that goal. That you can write it, you can do vision boards. Vision boards are amazing, they say, but I don't know how to make one. Like, I think I should try, but vision boards are amazing because if you've got a dream in your life that you want to have a dream house, a dream car, put it in a vision board. You'll see it every morning, every day, and you'd be reminded that that's where you want to be going, and that's what you're going to get at the end of the day while you work for it. And it's like everything's just going to follow that, everything. And you're going to attract all those kinds of good energy and the opportunities that would lead you to that certain place. So it might sound hillbilly, wishy-washy, but with this, what I've personally experienced on a very, what do you call that, a very real and practical level. I'm a practical person, and in this one, I do have limiting beliefs about myself and all these kinds of things. But if you guys are one of these people who also still don't believe and don't want it because it's washy-washy, wishy-washy, whatever that is, but you have to realize that you're also having that kind of a vibe and energy that you put out into the universe. Those kinds of things also come back to you tenfolds or whatever. If you're kinder to one person, it comes back to you, even though you don't feel like you're kind because you wanted to be kind, or whatever you do, this comes back to you. And whatever you put out into the world, you attract the same energy. Imagine if you attract bad energy, so you're gonna attract people who are going to be pitiful about so many things, who will not want to see change, those are kinds of things that you would attract if that's what you are and that's what you believe in, that's what you want to stay as. But if you have that kind of vibe where you just believe and you hope for good opportunities and better opportunities, you believe that it will happen, it will come to you, and you would have actually eyes to see it, that this is the opportunity for you to grow, and this is what it is for you to grow. So with all that, I just want to leave it at that note. And I want to thank everyone who's been with me through this journey of podcasting, from my first season to my second to my third, and this is my finale of the third season, and I can't believe that I've reached this part of my podcasting journey, and it's amazing to feel that. And I want to thank everybody who's been supporting me nonstop and who's been giving me their thoughts. I really do appreciate you guys. But I would have to take I would have to say that I would take a break, but I do have some episodes lined up as bonus episodes coming in for the next few weeks. But I'd probably take a break until the end of until the end of November, and then I'll be back by December for a Christmas series. So let's see. I'll cook up something for Christmas, and we'll see what that would be in Love, Growth, and Freedom. But to recap everything, Love, Growth, and Freedom has been talking about the foundations of like a lot of things. The first one of self-love, the second in acceptance, forgiveness, and healing, accepting your circumstances, and the third, figuring out yourself, finding those questions within you. And for the fourth season, there could be so many things that we could talk about. We could talk about anything under the sun, and I've got good topics lined up. I'll just have to figure out a way how to plot this out for you with a story, with a bang, and all that. But I would take a break. I would want to take inspiration from the universe and from the world again, because it's been quite a hazy few months for me. And as a person, that's one of the things I always look out for, is when I become hazy and, I don't know, not someone who's inspired all the time or uninspired at this very moment. So I would take that time for myself to grow and come back more with a vengeance of wanting to make the things better. So with all that, it's just amazing that you guys are still here with me in my journey, and I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. You have given me a voice in all this, and I am so grateful. And with all that's happening in this world, I know it's crazy and I know it seems hopeless, but that's a big hope. You thank the universe for a vaccine, you claim it, it's gonna happen, and things are gonna change, and people are gonna rise and understand that we all have to work on a path where we would live a sustainable life because of what's happening and how the world is crumbling in our hands, and that we have to figure out a way to work together and get to that. I believe that would happen. I thank the universe for that. I thank the universe for that to happen in 2021, that we all have our lives back and figure out how to navigate through this world as we evolve as creatures, as humans, and as our minds change. And I believe that the younger generation will fight for it, will fight a good fight for this one. I'm alongside those people, and I will. So thank you guys so much. With all that, this is Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye, lovies, and see you soon.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to know more, check out www.guerrillapodcast.com.au or guerrillapodcast.com.ph. A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.